Hello and welcome back to the ministry, and today I wanted to talk about coming out of the wilderness. When you have been in the wilderness, God will put you through a season of isolation. If you pay attention to the scripture in the Bible that talks about when Jesus went into his 40 days, he allowed John the Baptist to baptize him in the water. God identified him as Jesus Christ to John. He was run into the wilderness, and he stayed there for 40 days and 40 nights. As he was coming out, the enemy tempted him in 3 ways. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, pride of life. When you are coming out of the woods, God is going to, one, allow you to be tested. He's going to show you certain things. He's going to give you wisdom of certain things. Whether you've been tested for 3 days, or you went in for 3 days, whether you went in for 10, 12, 14, 21, 42, 56, 59, 60, I don't care how many days you went in. Some people go 90, some people go a whole 365. I don't care how some people are warriors like that with the Lord. I have not been blessed with that just yet. If the Lord decides to bless me with that, then it's going to be a special season in my life if he decides to do that. But I'm in no rush. But whatever your period of time is, he's going to, you're going to come out. But when you come out, you have to remember, one, you are out. Because what happens is, you, depending on what type of fight it was that you were in that experience, whatever length of time that period was, you're going to come into that with this, you're going to come out of that with this desire. Where you at? What you up to? I'm about to lay these hands in the spirit on all of you. In some cases, you do. You have to remain with your spiritual eyes open, because you can't be like, whew, I just got done with that. All right. I'm going to get back to life now. I'm going to get back to eating my food. I'm going to get back to enjoying myself. That was good. Now let's go. I'm done with that. Whew, next thing I only need to worry about is the manifestation. All right. We good. God be like, not just yet. But you also be like, if it ain't just yet, do I need to square up again? You be putting on your war clothes like, combat boots at the ready. Are we ready to fight, yo? And God's like, slow down. Stand still. I know. You ready? I know you do still need to remain at the ready. Keep your eyes open, your ears open. Keep an eye observant of your atmosphere, because he's still aware, but the enemy's still prowling like a roaring lion, seeing which whom he can devour. He's still seeking to steal, kill, and destroy. And you still need to remain aware of that, for the kingdom itself to refine it, to violate, taken by force. But in some cases, you need to chill. It's like, I got this. Tiffany Montgomery has been talking about this lately, and I'm like, man, I want to know what that feels like. Because she always talks about, you do realize there are some people who has never felt what warfare felt like. It's like, can I meet them? Can I become them? Can I know what that is? I want to know what that feels like. I want to know what that feels like. Because this don't feel good. And it ain't an element of ignorance. It's the fact of but at the same time, it's that element of you have to have that spiritual awareness of the fact that you can't remain ignorant to what's going on in the spirit. So it's that element of, is there such a thing, Lord? That a line of people can be so blessed that they know nowhere warfare. And how do you get to that level? That you no longer need to know of warfare. Because we be coming out of these things with our battle clothes on, looking straight like a demon slayer, saying, where to fight at? I'm ready to go. It's like you've been fighting a war. It's like, think about the military. Okay? You take a person that was put in the center of military combat for a year, 2 years, whatever many years, that however long they deploy I actually need to research that, how long they deploy a person to go into military ranking for the military. And then they're brought home. And they're supposed to still interact with people after they've been in war. Okay? Just think about this. They were out there in a battleground where they had to observe landmines. They were hearing bombs go off. I'll never forget, I used to go to Brooklyn Tabernacle, and it was, they used to tell the story of this woman, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, she came to visit the church one time while I was still attending Brooklyn Tabernacle. It was a woman that went over to one of those Middle East countries to do, it wasn't aid work. It was missionary philanthropy or something like that work that she was doing. But while she was there, they said they read a letter that she had sent back talking about how it was to be in that atmosphere. And you don't think about this. Not from a civilian standpoint of view, not from the standpoint of a military soldier standpoint of view. Of a person that is going in to a battleground. Think about what's going on in that other country right now. You're in this other country. Foreign territory to you. You are dealing with hearing bombs go off repetitively 24 hours a day, whether they're at a distance or close by. You're also dealing with, you're going out, you have to be you have to be cautious of everywhere you're going. You have to be cautious that this is in an area that things are happening in. You may look to your left and see a barricade. You may look to your right, see a motorcade for the enemy. You may look ahead of you and see a vehicle blow up. You may look at it. It's absolute sheer confusion. You may have to sleep through bombs 24/7. Think about that. Now, put that into the spirit realm. You are spiritually in a fight 24/7 for a period of time in certain seasons. But when you come out of the wilderness, meaning you are no longer in this fight anymore, You have handed the fight back over to your government. Ergo, Jesus Christ, the just judge, the God that fights your battles. And God's saying, I need you to give this fight back over to me. And you say, okay, I'm giving it back over to you. I'm taking my battle clothing off and I'm going back home. And the Lord said, good, I need you to go back home and I need you to rest. The first thing that you do once you get there is you suffer from anxiety, sleepless nights, fatigue, all from the stress that has built up within you from having to be either in a training experience for an extended period of time, deployed for a period of time in this spiritual warfare, having to fight, getting up in the middle of the night, responding to the spiritual bombs, meaning sudden attacks of the enemy. Those kind of continual attacks to make you tired. And then once the Lord reminds you, it's like, you know you're supposed to fight back. And you're like, oh, okay. So you go into spiritual warfare and you start loosing, binding, pulling. You start calling on angels. You start warring in the spirit. You start going in tongues. You go into that warfare place and you're fighting. It's the equivalent of a military soldier shooting over a battlefield at every target that it sees and making sure. It's like, you ever play those video games as a child? Not military video games, but people play military video games. There are people that do that too, Call of Duty and all that kind of stuff. But I'm the one that I didn't play Call of Duty. I've watched people play Call of Duty. I was the one that was like, give me Mortal Kombat, give me Fighting Force. I want to kick somebody's behind. I'm not out here trying to be over here fighting with guns and stuff. I'd rather kick your butt. I told you I was a Buffy Vampire Slayer person. I'd rather kick butt and take names than to sit around here and shoot guns. But in those games, it's that element that when you go into physical combat, you have to literally fight with your body. Your body becomes the weapon. It's like when you see these MMA karate people. They say that they are literal lethal weapons as physical people because their body is insured as a weapon. As children of God, our spiritual walk is our weapon. And God is our insurance. We can't just be pulling that out anytime. We can literally be persecuted as a weapon. That's what happens with people that are karate people. People that do karate, people that are black belts. They are actual physical weapons. Their body is a weapon. You know how they say in Christ, your body is a temple? Well, your body is a actual physical weapon that you're using to fight off the enemy, okay? And because of that, you have to be alert to certain things. But at the same time, understanding how to turn it off when you no longer, it's not that you will no longer need it, but there are seasons God will be like, okay, you've warred, you've fought, now it's my turn. I need you to rest. Rest, recuperate, reset, and then we gonna run again. And it's not that I need you to run into battle. I just need you to work. Because the way God works with me is he'll pull me into, I'll go into consecration. for whatever period of time he pulls me into. Then he'll put me into resting state. Then he'll put me into a run on whatever business or whatever calling that he has me focusing on in that season. And it may be a series of things back to back, but he may have me do a run, and a run a lot of times. And let me clarify this while I'm thinking of it. This is something that I notice a lot of people will do, and it'll make people nervous in this moment. God will say, a move is coming. You're about to move. You're about to move. Yes, some of us are spiritually moving. Some of us are physically moving. The ones that are spiritually moving, that usually means that God has given you a download, and it's something in which he needs for you to accomplish. Whether it be, I need you to create the outline for this. I need you to create the structure for this. I need you to create the website for this. I need you to create the whatever for this. I need you to write down the formula for this. I need you to create the concept for this. I need you to link together whatever needs to be linked together in order for this mechanism to operate properly. That's your run. You run and make sure you complete that activity, that task. That's your movement. Secondarily, if he says, okay, I actually need you to move, when you're actually supposed to move, God is going to actually provide you the provision in order for you to be able to do that. It may not come to you in a way in which you believe. I'm going to talk about that. But he's going to give you that ability to move into that. So you may come out of that warfare, that fight, that thing, and then he's going to tell you to rest. You know how hard it is to rest after you've come out of warfare? It's like for a military person that comes home and they're sitting there like they suffer from insomnia for weeks. They suffer from anxiety. Can't nobody make no sudden noises. Can't nobody do nothing suddenly, because you're now dealing with a spirit of fear, anxiety, and intimidation that couple themselves together immediately after you come out, because that's what the enemy does. He immediately comes after you with fear, frustration, all this kind of stuff. It's like a person going through PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder. This is what you're going through. Post-traumatic spiritual dysfunction disorder. You just came out the spirit and you're trying to recalibrate yourself to the natural. It's like, wait a minute. I was just in the spirit realm for how long? And you want me to come back to the reality? And there's usually, the breakthrough comes in the fact that what just happened in the spirit meets the natural and something shakes. There's a literal shaking atmospherically that happens, which usually ushers in a change of direction. What is a change of direction? This is where I'm going to touch on the actual article that I was reading. I touched on the article that I was supposed to talk about yesterday. Yes, in the last piece. But I'm going to touch on this article. Change in direction. It's like you are walking 5 years ago, and I've seen this happen to me in the past couple of years. All it is a change of pattern change, a quick shift in your pattern, where you're going in one direction, and you think that that's the direction that you should be going. You're walking in that direction. And you've always walked in this direction. It's a predictable pattern because you've always walked in this direction. You know this direction. Keep going in this direction. And you're walking there. That's the direction in which you know. That's the direction in which you go. Yes? Yes. So, with that being said, as you're walking and you're going in this direction, what happens? You suddenly realize there's a block in front of you. Wait, Lord, there's a block in front of me. Where am I supposed to go? I can't go this way now. And God says, change your direction. Now, one of two things is going to happen. Either the block is going to actually be there, meaning it's an actual block. You are walking and there's no way for you to get through there. Or it's an illusion of a block, meaning there may be a spiritual something trying to give off the appearance that you are blocked off from entering into
that next thing in which you're supposed to be putting your hands on. But in all actuality, if you walk close enough to it, you'll find, yes, it's blocked off the way that you thought, but it's a way around it that's very simple. As a matter of fact, a young woman I was listening to, Queen Alita, just released a word talking about something where she saw a path that was blocked off, and she was trying to go this way around, and if she went that way, she would have fell down the cliff in the dream. If she went the other way, she'd have had to climb up this big hill. If she went the other way, she wasn't going to be able to make it around that way, and she would have slid. And then she was like, there was only one other way. Somebody was sitting on the step with a bag in front of it. It's like, excuse me, can you move this front? And the person was like, yes, okay, of course. Sometimes it's just that simple. It can be assumed blockades in a place in which you think that you may need to change direction, but it may not be that you need to change direction. You just need to face the thing that's apparently appearing to block you, and you'll come to find that it's easy to move out of the way, or that it's a simple way around it, meaning, oh, I'm walking down this side of the street, let me walk down the side of the street on the opposite side of the street, cross at the light and walk on the other side of the street, because this side is blocked off. I'm going to reach my same destination, it's just I'm going to be on the opposite side of the street. And you're going to see things you would not have seen had you stayed on the side that you're used to. You're going to come to understandings that you would not have come to because you were not in the exact same routine that you normally walk in. This is what the Lord is doing in this season. He's changing our direction. He's changing which way in which we are going. When you have a spiritual shift, such as you go through warfare and come out of the wilderness, He shifts you. That your course is going to slightly change to realign and order with the direction in which He needs for you to go. It's almost kind of like you're walking straight, and sometimes it'll feel like, God, which way you want me to go? And then He'll turn it. It's like, have you ever seen like an octagon? And you know how you'll have one straight thing and then it'll go that way, and then it's a slow turn. A sharp turn, but slow. He gives you a quick, sharp turn, and things shift, and you're trying to adjust because you just come out of a state of anxiety, warfare, all of this, and you're like, okay, God's saying don't fight, but I need you to rest. But while you're resting, I need you to observe what I just did, because I just shifted your direction. All right? I've just changed something. I need you to pay attention to what I'm shifting and where I'm speaking to you right now. It's like last night he had me working on something I wasn't even planning to work on it, but I had gotten irritated about something, and I sat down and I started listening to music. And when I started listening to music, he brought me back to another song that I was listening to about 2-3 months ago, and I listened to that song and ended up writing up something that I wasn't planning to write last night. I was like, oh, okay. And then this morning I was working on some stuff, and I was like, change of direction. He shifted me ever so slightly. You have to be willing to listen to spiritual guidance of the Holy Spirit to change direction, because there's wisdom in what He's trying to show you in that moment. Okay? Follow His shift, because when you follow His shift, you'll get the most wisdom, guidance, and direction in order to take you where He's trying to shift you into. But you have to be willing to put down your weapons from the fight that you just came out of. Rest in Him. Listen to Him. And allow Him to recalibrate, rejuvenate, and reset your path to this new direction. Now that you know your new direction, follow it. But don't do it in a state of anxiety from the fight that you were in. Do it from a state of rest and surrender to the Lord. I was listening to Righteous Wives this morning. She released the word, and she was talking about we need to operate in a state of letting go our thoughts, letting go our perceived notions, letting go where we think that we're supposed to be right now, and when we're supposed to be there, and how it's supposed to transpire, and who's supposed to do this, and when it's supposed to happen, and how it's supposed to happen. Because those of us that are planners, we like to plan ahead of time so that we aren't surprised when all things transpire. But the fact of the matter is, if you pay attention to God, God will give you the steps in order to prepare you for the shifts in which He's trying to transfer you into. It just may not be at the pace in which you think that it needs to be. He might tell you, do a little something here, do a little something there, do a little something there, keep that in order in this way, keep that in order in this way. And it's like, you're like, but God, this seems all in disarray. Because He's not telling you to put all the pieces together at one time. He's telling you to put the pieces together as He directs you. But when you look back 5, 10, 15 years later, you'll be like, oh, I put all that in order. It's just I did it in pieces. Now you're looking at 5 things in order. And I'm about to go into another word about that in a minute. But I wanted to finish this up. So allow Him to help you shift those things into the right order, because He may shift you over to this thing that you were to be working on, or shift you over to that thing that you need to be working on, or direct you over here into that thing you need to be working on. Let go of your perceived notion and which direction, who needs to be a part of it, how it needs to be done, and so on and so forth. I've noticed lately, there's a particular person that I've been watching for a while, and every time she's talking, now she's always had the ability that every time she was talking she would inspire me, but as of lately I've been noticing when I watch her, I actually am distracted by hearing what the Lord is telling me that I need to be doing, and I'm really not listening to anything she's saying right now. And I'm like, well, this is interesting, God. And I go in the direction of which the Lord is telling me, because you do not make man your idol. I don't care who they are. The Lord tells you this, follow what the Lord's telling you. And if that person is operating in the direction in which the Lord is trying to tell you to go in this season, what they tell you may actually assist what you're doing, or it's not. If that person is Holy Spirit led, make sure you ain't listening to no false prophets or anybody like that. Check the accuracy of the people that you are listening to. And a lot of people will tell you don't listen to too many voices. I listen to who the Lord aligns me with in certain season. If I feel like something's off in that season, I'll be like, I'm gonna back away from this person. I don't think I'm supposed to be listening to him this season. But yeah, I hope that gave you some wisdom as to what you could or need to be doing, because God is changing directions. But when He does, don't be on guard. Allow Him to shift you into the direction He's trying to change you into. And I say, still keep your ears and your eyes open to what the enemy may try to do, but don't be on constant defense, because of the fact that, yes, there may be subtle, manipulative little things that the enemy's going to try, and you still have to be discerning, because they're going to come in like looking like puppies and candy. But they're going to, when I have dreams, 9 times out of 10, and if you read dream books, a lot of dream books will tell you that animals and children are no good in dreams. It's like, if you see a child and a dog and an animal, please know that that's something wrong with that picture, especially if it's too cuddly with you. It's like, please know it's something wrong with that child. Please know they've always been demonic in my dreams. I've never seen a child in my dreams that was actually a cuddly actual child. It's usually been fully red on, demonized. Their hair was red. They may have been as short as a little baby child, but they were demonically activated. Even recently, I had a dream about the child was, this was a terror. I was like, what do you know? It was acting like one. I'm like, it was a little girl. I'm like, why are you so angry? Oh my God. Be aware. And that was just a side note. But we coming to the end of this. So do stay on guard, even for the little foxes, as I was talking about in the previous video. Stay on guard of the things that look one way and are not. Be aware, be discerning. Don't get too relaxed, but do relax, because that's how you're going to be able to receive your instructions and your directions in this season. Thank you. This is Taj McCameron from the ministry. If you liked and enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, much love, faith, peace, and blessings to you. Bye-bye.